I'll tell you what. Every time I get to Christmas, I realize just how messy Christmas is. It's messy, messy, messy. If you don't believe me, just think about this, okay? About a month ago, Sandy and I started putting up lights outside. And I mean, the strings are all intertwined, and we're fighting, trying to get them untwined. You know, and Sandy, finally, we got all of them up, and we realized we got them on backwards. In the morning, there's going to be paper wrap all over the place. Who here's looking forward to someone special coming tonight? Yeah, I bet. And then in the morning, a few adults do, yeah. And then in the morning, there's Christmas wrap all over the place, right? And then you have a nice dinner. And then guess what? All those dishes. Christmas is messy, messy, messy. And now I've got a question for you. Just a little poll I'd like to take. Who here puts up a real Christmas tree? Wow, a few. I got to tell you what happened 2 years ago. Sandy, Joel, and I decided we're going to get a real tree. So we were like, well, this is fun. I mean, we're going getting our tree in Arizona, so wearing shorts. That's kind of cool. And we're bringing it home, and we're trying to set it up. And no matter what we did, that tree would not stand straight. It always hooked one side. Finally, I think we got the whole thing set up. And then after a while, the pine needles started falling. They still have to step on pine needles. You know, and it was a mess. It was a mess. So then, something I never thought about, what do you do with the Christmas tree when you're done? I didn't know. Little I know, you just can't throw it into the garbage bin. We held on to that thing for 2 months. I kid you not. I actually told Sandy, I think what I'm going to do, one night around midnight, I'm going to stick in the back of my Jeep, go find a dark street and just dump it off. They'll never know it was me. And Sandy said, Gary, you can't do that because if anyone catches you, they're going to know you're a pastor. That'll look doubly bad. So our neighbor finally says, oh, no, what you got to do is, this is cool. You chop it up, put it into the fire pit, and have a bonfire. Joel, go chop the stupid thing up, throw it in the into the pit. Again, a mess all over 2 months after Christmas. We get it into the bonfire, and it starts out kind of nice. It's like epiphany, oh, this is nice. And all of a sudden the fire started getting higher, and higher, and higher, and higher. And Joel's sitting next to me, he goes, we're just looking at it. And he goes, Dad? Yeah, son. Do you think we should call Sandy? or the fire department? No, son, we're good. I look like we're having someone, finally, Joel, go get Sandy. Finally, we put water on, and there were ants all over the place, and but it was messy. But let's face it, sometimes come Christmas time, our lives are messy for other reasons, right? We're getting to Christmas, and you have that person you work with who just irritates you. Right? They just get on your nerves. And then it's Christmas, and you got to be Merry Christmas when you just want to poke him in the eye with a pencil. No, don't do that. Right? Or you think, okay, I've got a family dinner, all my family's coming and friends. But the problem is, there's that one relative that just annoys you. And it's the one that criticizes you no matter what you do. And you think, how am I going to deal with Christmas? And then there's that creepy Uncle Harry that everyone has, who they floss their teeth at the dinner table. You're like, right? And then sometimes, let's be honest, we get to Christmas and there's more of a mess in our life. Maybe we're dealing with a broken relationship. And we're thinking, how can I celebrate Christmas when this relationship that meant something to me is over and I'm hurt? Maybe you get to Christmas and you're starting to think in the back of your head, Christmas was fun, but now comes the heartache of Christmas visa bill. And that's going to hurt. What am I going to do then? Maybe someone in your family is suffering an illness. And you're like, wow, how can I celebrate when I've got this illness kind of always plaguing me? And maybe for some of us, you've lost somebody who you love. You've lost someone who you love so much. And thinking about having Christmas without that person puts a hole in your heart. It's a hole in your life. And you think, okay, what do I do? And what we're tempted to do is to whitewash it. To come in the door, put a smile on our face and say, Merry Christmas, when on the inside, we're dying a little bit. No wonder sometimes Christmas is such a depressing time of year. So this Christmas Eve, I submit for your approval that maybe whitewashing all the messiness in our lives isn't the way to celebrate Christmas. Maybe Christmas is a time in our life to just press the pause button, to look into the messy manger, to give thanks for the birth of God's Son, Jesus. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Because here's something that you might be really surprised to understand. When you look at the Christmas story, I mean, forget about all the Christmas pageantry. When you read the Bible, what you see is the first Christmas was really messy. Really, really messy. Mark doesn't mention Christmas at all. Matthew gives it all of one paragraph or two paragraphs and actually talks more about the Magi, which is much later. And then you got John, who kind of gives the cosmic overview of Christmas. And then Luke. And Luke kind of gives us the most detailed accounts of Christmas. And what you really see is that when you look really close, God came and He stepped into our messy lives. And you know what? It was messy from the get-go. I want you to reconsider this from adults' eyes for a moment. It starts with Joseph being in love, proposing to Mary, thinking about their plans together, thinking about their life together. And one day Mary comes to him and says, Joseph, I'm pregnant. And Joseph is shattered. How could you do this to me? No, it's the Lord. The angel spoke to me. It's God's Son. And Joseph had to say, wow, you expect me to believe that? Really? I said, he has a dream. And the angel says, no, what Mary said is very true. You're to raise this child and it's God's Son. Okay. And then all of a sudden the next thing we find out is the emperor wants to raise taxes. Right? He's in this building program all over his empire, and he's running out of cash. When the government runs out of cash, what do? Raise taxes. What do they do before they raise the taxes? take a census, right? They don't care how many kids you have. They want to know how much money they can raise. And so they said, okay, there's the census. Everyone has to go back to their own town to register. Think about this. Think about if the government said to you, at the end of this month, everyone has to go to their state that they were born in, to the city that they were born in, get a new social security card, a new birth certificate. Well, for some of us, if you were born here, that's not bad. For some of us from New Jersey, that's a little bit more challenging. Imagine if you couldn't do it by car or plane. You had to go by donkey. You see what I'm talking about? So what happens next? They travel 8 days from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Right? They're looking for a place to stay. And that mean innkeeper. There's no room in the inn. Go away, pregnant person. But, here's the thing. In the Greek, it doesn't actually say inn. It means guest house. If you ever think about this, Joseph was there. His whole family were there. Right? Why was he, why were they going to an inn in the first place? Well, she was almost about to give birth. They get to Joseph's house, and remember, everybody's there for what reason? They're not celebrating Christmas, right? Why are they there? For the census. Doing something that's not fun. They're losing money. They're out of work. No one's in a good mood. And for a woman to give birth at that time would make everyone in the house unclean religiously. So they said, what are we going to do? There's no room. We have a guest house, but even that's filled and we have people there. Well, what we'll do is we'll bring them to the barn. Therefore, when the baby's born, the only thing that's going to be unclean are the animals. Do you wonder what Mary and Joseph are thinking at this point? Do you remember how this started? The angel Gabriel comes to Mary and it says, you, Mary, who are highly favored, that's where they get the Hail Mary from, right? You are greatly favored. The Lord is with you. You're going to have a son. You're going to name him Jesus. He's going to be God's son. Let me ask you a question. If anyone's life should be easygoing, stress-free, without messiness, it would be this family, right? The woman is giving birth to God. It should be easy all the way. And instead, we see a mess. And it gets worse. Later on, the Magi come, and they're told in a dream, Herod wants to kill the baby, escape to Egypt. So remember, they got frankincense and myrrh and gold. They probably sold the gold to get to Egypt. And at that point, Herod comes and he kills all the little baby boys under the age of 2. Does that sound messy to you? But here's the thing. If you take a moment and you push that pause and you peer in to that messy manger, what you really see is God is in complete control the entire time. There's a line that runs through Mary and Joseph, through Jesus' perfect life for 33 years, all the way to Calvary, all the way to the cross, all the way to Easter. And finally, into your lives. Because it was there at Christmas, that God began to set the plan in motion of bringing his people back to himself, to you. God began to call you home. even in the middle of your messiness, even in the middle of your strife, in the middle of your hurts and bewilderment and things you don't understand, God says, trust me. I'm in control. I know it doesn't seem like it right now. Right now it might seem like a mess and just confusion and you have no idea what's going to happen. But God says, I want you to know something. I love you and I am in control. It was in this manger that God was born. And God's plan of salvation was set in motion. But Mary and Joseph, if you had asked them at the time, they'd say, I have no idea how this is going to work out. I'm just as confused. I'm just as scared. But I'm trusting God. 2007. I was in South Dakota, and two events happened that were pretty big in my life. My mom just passed away. And my cat passed away. Now, that's not a big deal because he was an ornery cat anyway. But he was still my cat. And there was this one Christmas Eve that Joel and Brooke, they were staying with their mom in Ohio. And I finished the Christmas Eve service. And I walked back to the house. And I walked in to an empty, silent house. Now you might say, oh, that's really sad. Well, it was and it wasn't. I knew my mom was in heaven. My cat was ornery. And my kids were happy. And they were with their mom and everything was good. But here's what I remember. I remember I sat down and I was looking into the nativity set. And I began to pray. And I prayed for a lot of things that Christmas Eve, many years ago. But one of the things I actually prayed for was a wife. I said, Lord, I really would like a wife. I want to help me. I want someone to go through this life with. It'd be nice if she's Christian, especially Lutheran. And blonde would be nice. Now, that's a pretty reasonable prayer, right? You would think that God would get on this prayer relatively quickly. 7 years. I waited 7 years. A lot of whining in those 7 years, but 7 years until God brought me Sandy. I actually forgot. I forgot so much. He actually dumped her in my lap. She actually walked through those doors right there. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know I was dating her until she told me. She was, well, we're dating. Would you really want to do that to your girlfriend? I know we were dating. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. Here's the point. I didn't know where that line was going. But I trusted. In our messy lives at Christmas, when we come in, instead of just whitewashing and say, oh, my life isn't messy. It's messy. It's confusing at times. Just take a moment. Press the pause button. Look into the nativity and realize that God is in control. That God loves you and He is in complete control of your life. And He only has the best intentions and the best at heart for you. And that's good news. Because your Father who loves you is also your daddy in heaven and controls all things. Now there's one last thing in this messiness I want to share with you. It's sort of an epilogue to my sermon. So Matthew ends with this great statement. It actually begins with this great statement in chapter 2. He says, she will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. And he shows us what God is doing. Then Matthew kind of jumps around a little bit. He jumps around, and a chapter later, what we find is Jesus and Mary and Joseph are going to Jerusalem. Jesus is 12 years old. They're going to the temple. And it's the Passover. It's a holiday. It's like our Christmas almost. Okay? And there's all these people that are going up to Jerusalem, and all these people, it's all exciting. And then they're coming back. And as they're coming back, Matthew tells us this really fascinating story. He goes, they come back, and they start saying, well, where's Jesus? Joseph, where's Jesus? He goes, I don't know, Mary, I thought you had him. Well, I don't have him, I thought you have him. They go around to his relatives. Have you seen Jesus? No. I want you to think about this. The Holy Family, Mary, lost Christ at Christmas. Here's a hint. Don't lose Christ at Christmas. Does anyone know how long it took them to find Jesus? 3 days. Don't lose Christ at Christmas. Sometimes, in the messiness of Christmas, in the chaos of Christmas, it's easy to lose him. Even though we worship him, we forget. And we get so caught up in other things in our life, we lose Christ at Christmas. Don't lose him. Some of you have come here and you're thinking, boy, what I really want this Christmas is for God to give me clarity. For God to bring order out of chaos. For God to bring me peace. For God to heal my hurting. And to still my heart. And he'll do that. Just don't lose him. Spend time with him. So this Christmas and this year, I have a thing I would like you to do. If you have a nativity set, big or small, I have a challenge for you. Don't put it away this year. Leave it out. You don't have to leave it out on your coffee table where people think you're just lazy. But leave it out somewhere. Someplace quiet, maybe in your bedroom. Where every day you can peer into the messy manger and see that God really is in control. And Christmas was his act of winning you back and bringing you home and filling you with love and peace so that we really can say, Merry Christmas. Amen.